Welcome to Surf Dudes with Attitude. This is Pete from New York City. Hello, gentlemen.
Well, hi there. This is Zach from Nashville. How is it going?
From Chocolatetown, USA, I'm George Howell. How's it going?
Yum, yum, yum.
Does anybody actually call it that still, George?
I have no idea.
Since I left, I don't know. It's gone off the rails since I vacated Hershey, Pennsylvania.
Since you were vacated.
Since I was a part of the Chocolatetown Mafia.
out.
Yes, that's true.
It's true. You changed your name. Draw attention to it on this public platform.
We are back. This is Surf Dudes with... I didn't even say the name of the show to start. We had a discussion right before we started that we haven't come up with the catchphrase, and all the focus groups that we talked to said, like, love the show. Really good. It doesn't snare me in the first 2 seconds, so I don't know if I'm going to keep listening. So now we're under the gun, and we need to find one. Mm-hmm. If anybody has any ideas, please let us know. But you are listening to Surf Dudes with Attitude. We are on episode 10 of the first season. We're getting there, guys. I was just asked what are we doing for the season finale? Like, we're already almost there. That's fucking insanity to me that we somehow roped two of my best friends into doing this podcast with me for no money. So
you guys are rich for not getting paid. I'm paying for this thing.
This was very exciting to look in the queue and find that this was episode 2. We're in double digits. I mean, episode 10. It was very exciting to. Should I try again?
You should try again
and take 2.
This was very exciting to look at the queue and find that we're on episode 10. It's double digits, baby.
That's double digits, yo.
We really are moving
have
along.
The ratings report. We are still the uncontended number 1 for podcasts about California dreams.
We're running unopposed, but that still doesn't make it any less awesome to me. I keep expecting, because so when we're putting this out, obviously we're a bit ahead, but I keep expecting me to find it, you mean this insanely popular podcast about California dreams, like been there, done that 7 years ago, but it hasn't existed. So I would have found it by now. We're sleuths as far as our researching. So
it's very exciting to be that podcast for someone else. Mm-hmm. Like somebody else in 7 years is going to be like, I've had this for 10 years. I've wanted to do this podcast about California dreams, but I just don't think anybody's done it. And then they're going to find this.
I mean, with the amount of work we're putting into it, I really hope it's a quick Google search that they can kind of find in 0.75 seconds. Same. And then their dreams will be dashed forever because fuck them, they waited too long.
Yeah, and maybe we'll be maybe they'll go forward with it anyway or take a different approach, and we'll be guests sometimes. But by then we'll demand money.
So I did want to take a quick moment to plug our stuff. Pete is the bassist and lead man of You Bred Raptors. Zach is the everything and lead man of Fable Cry, and we have our website for California Dreams podcast, the Surf Dudes with Attitude at surfdudeswithattitude.com. You can find all of our social media and links to everything that we do right there at surfdudeswithattitude.com, including to our Patreon, where you can get the extended version or the video version of this show.
No ads on that one. There's no ads on any of them right now, but you never know. Maybe Oikos will sponsor us.
If anybody's out there.
What would be a sponsor for this show? Like, what realistically could we get? Like, what California Dreams inspired product do you think would jump at the chance to be on this weekly?
Yeah, this is
surfboards.
Surfboards would be
sex
cool.
wax, maybe.
I mean, this is sex wax. We don't surf currently, just like much of this cast.
I do.
Wait,
I do
George,
own a
surf?
surfboard.
Wait, that's not what we said though. Do you surf with said surfboard?
No, my neighbor left it in my yard and didn't take it back.
Oh, that counts even less. I assume this was like I bought one time, took a couple lessons, never went out there. Finding a Betty. You know who also doesn't surf, as Zach mentioned, like anybody in this episode. If we thought we were gonna get, if there was ever an episode to get a surfing scene, a beach scene, I'm going backwards here. Like an establishing shot of a beach, or even just an outside the fucking sun. If we just had one clip of the sun, of the the ultraviolet rays from the biggest star in the fucking solar system, I thought it would be this episode, and it's not.
Did you have a moment like the first time, we're in the first time it's about to cut to our second location? Did you have like a moment of hope?
I was edging.
Like, oh my god!
Hard. I think we're about to see
the beach.
Cock in hand, overhand, like I'm shooting dice, just so ready.
I know your style.
To finally, they only have like 4 sets in this whole show. 10 episodes in, we haven't seen dick outside. So I was hoping, even just them on even Saved by the Bell had a cheesy beach scene. I'm not talking about the Malibu Sands episode, Zach. If you're not aware, they did 6 episodes for their summer season at Malibu Sands Beach Club, where they all worked, and they actually shot outside in the sand. And they, people think it's a whole season, but it's actually only 6 episodes. But they had like a senior skip day, and there was like a really cheesy looking like Gidget beach scene at one point. They had that. Why couldn't a surf-themed episode have at least one of them? I don't care how stupid it looks, but I wanted some effort put into this.
I mean, they did it for the intro. They found a beach. There's
true.
A beach close. This cast has been on a beach before for this show together.
They're not from Kansas. They're not in a landlocked state. There is a beach. It looked like a Pacific Ocean. I can't tell for sure. But I'm assuming they actually did film mostly in LA, probably Burbank Studios.
I bet you're right.
Anyway, yes, we didn't get it, but that doesn't mean we're not still excited about the rest of this episode, everyone.
We're still a little bit excited. I'm so excited that I wore a bow tie. You can't see with the mic.
I couldn't see the bow tie. That's so Chip and Dale's.
Yeah, well, because of this the surfer soul swapping ceremony that we'll find out about later. I wanted to dress for the occasion and match some of the other patrons, guests. I hope they didn't pay for this. Ceremony guests. We'll get into it. But
oh yeah, I got a ton of questions about that. So yes, again, this is episode 10. If you're following along on YouTube, that'd be awesome. I guess some of these we would say definitely watch the episode beforehand, but this one, I don't know. I think it's one of the ones you can skip. Usually we wait till the end to kind of talk about that. But episode 10, season 1 came out November 14th, 1992, called Romancing the Tube. And as we said last week, this is a play on the film that every kid would have seen, Romancing the Stone, with Michael Douglas. Yep. This is, even the title itself is such a long walk. There's I guess the idea is that the surfboard, like the stone in the movie, brings them together, and that they're two opposite people that should not be attracted to each other. Did I already put more effort into the writing here than the writers did?
Quite possibly. Yeah. Okay. When did Romancing the Stone come out? Did we find that out last year? I can't. Or last
I think late 80s, 87, 89 or something. So who knows?
No, it was 90s, wasn't it? Like early, like around.
My crystal ball says 84.
84. All right, thank you. Crystal ball.
Okay.
Yeah, that's different. That's not 92. This movie was not like super relevant in the way, by 92. Did the sequel come out in 92?
Jewel de Nile. No, Jewel of the Nile. There's a porn star named Jewel de Nile. I guess she named herself after that. Yeah,
Do you
that's
think
that's
she
true.
has seen California Dreams?
No.
Has she seen Romancing the Tube episode? And would she
No.
be interested in being a guest at any point on this
No,
podcast?
no. Wait. Did Jewel of the Nile came out 1 year after the first Romancing the Stone? Is that accurate?
Wow.
What?
Yes.
What George is saying? Yes, that's fucking insanity to shoot on. Did they film this like Back to the Future 2 and 3, where it was like Lord of the Rings style, where they just like filmed them concurrently because they're like, this is gonna be a fucking hit.
That's bananas.
Oh, that's sad. Anyway, we're gonna start this episode at Sharkey's. Crazy, right?
What?
And there's this throwaway line. Matt's talking to Tiff or something at the table. Tony, I don't think is working, but Tiff has just broken up with Kevin. Zach, who the fuck is Kevin?
We don't know. Some bonzo. Come on, we don't like Kevin.
I thought I had to look back at my.
She broke up with him, or they just broke up.
Oh, they broke up. Yeah.
Because who would break this young woman's heart is my question.
I had to look back at my notes. I was like, is Kevin the fatso from that other episode? But that guy's name is Ted.
Ted. Yeah.
I was hoping for some continuity, and I'm not calling him fat. Jenny called him fat. I'm just saying that's how we remembered him. Because he's a skinny guy now with Docker shorts. Anyway, Tiff is not broken up about this, and I guess we find out later. A very progressive dating style for Tiff for a female in the early 90s. Like, go her. She's, she just doesn't want to commit to a guy. She just fucking ends it. Good on her. That's awesome. And Jenny says that, last time she got broken up with, she just binge watched 30 somethings and cried or something like that. And I'm like, of fucking course Jenny would be one watching 30 somethings because she looks 30 something. That is such a middle-aged show. It's just, have you ever seen it? Timothy Busfield's in it.
Show.
Oh,
no.
Of course that didn't make the cut.
I'm sorry. I've never even heard of that. Is that what we're doing next time?
Dude, I bet they have a musical episode. Don't threaten this girl with a good time, okay?
30 somethings. I'm just looking at a little bit about it.
It's real melodramatic. It thinks it's fun. It's kind of like, do you know that show This Is Us that everyone was like digging on or something? It's that from the late 80s, early 90s.
This looks pretty good. This is absolutely a middle-aged.
Stuff. And back then 30 something was middle-aged because I guess everybody died of gangrene or something at the age of 62.
Hey, I think the average is not too dissimilar from what it was back at this time. So you and I are middle-aged. I hate to break it to you.
I lumped that show in with like Northern Exposure and Murphy Brown, and I'm like, who is watching this mediocrity? But Jenny would be.
Jenny is
a fucking course.
Jenny's watching reruns of this show when she has a breakup. Cool.
Oh, anyway, so again, this was the time that I was looking. I was like, all right, it's gonna fucking happen. We're gonna get a surf scene. And go ahead.
Oh, just that Tiffany doesn't want to date anybody but surfers from now on because they get it. They get her. They get the ocean. And I mean, right on cue, enters Sly into Sharkey's carrying a surfboard clumsily.
Yeah, and he's only doing this, it should be mentioned, because he wants to pick up babes. Which, wow, just huge character depth for this. I'd like to sidebar, Your Honor. George has just said, George, you can pop in. You said this is the first time that has been established that Matt is older than Jenny.
The first time. It took 10 episodes to set up the fact that Matt is older than Jenny.
How was this? I might have missed it. How was this? I'll need receipts. What did he say?
In the garage when they're talking about making a purchase for the band, Jenny says that Matt is the oldest child.
Yeah, because she says in some cultures they kill their firstborn.
Right.
implying that he's the firstborn.
Are you jumping ahead, motherfucker? You get back in your corner. We'll talk about that later.
Trying to. You called me in. You summoned me.
That's true. Let's bring this up.
I thought it happened during this scene. I'm glad I didn't miss it. That still doesn't mean they're not twins, okay? That could mean he's 2 minutes older. All right?
Older's older.
Older's older.
We knew one of them was older. I didn't say they'd be the first simultaneous twins ever. They could be C-section twins. I mean, that's close, but it's not. They're still, somebody gets it.
Yeah,
All right, get out of here. Okay.
I guess you could do it kind of at the same time. I don't know. Could you do it? Could you get them both at the same time? And
you'd have to have two doctors, two competent doctors, and a big, like really big forceps. So.
Okay. Right in.
Again, Zach, is this a Saturday? Do we know what day of the week it is? Tony doesn't seem to be working. So maybe it's a Tuesday. Are they on winter break?
No.
Would you be surfing?
Yeah, Pacific in the winter is fucking cold. But that's hence the wetsuit.
Yes, there's multiple scenes in this with surfers, and they're all bone dry. So that's not going to give us any indication what day it is. I'm only asked what day it is because Tony, he's not wearing a Sharky's uniform, and he's just hanging out. Again, I find weird. Fine, people do it. But what does Tiff say in this scene? She's like, sir, or I think it was Sly. He says, like, for some people, surfing is a way of life. Is that true? Is that what Sly says in this scene? Genuinely asking.
I don't have it in my notes, nor do I remember.
Why didn't you dictate this whole episode?
It's close. Somebody could just read my notes, and it would give them a play-by-play.
Okay, cool.
Because I don't want to miss anything. But no, the only quote that I have is when he comes to a table and he flirts at three young women, and they all say "wipe out," and they pour water on him, and then he's wet.
Oh, he is wet.
These
You're
people
right.
are never wet. You said.
Stand corrected. That is my bad. Are they that I didn't notice? But later, I'm going to jump ahead like a motherfucker here. But are they the same three girls that hit on him later? Because
that's a great question. Oh,
I don't know if it is because
I don't.
That's showing the whole. Oh, it's this silly old white male writer thing where it's like girls only want you if you're spoken for kind of thing. So
right.
They could be working through some shit in that. Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna jump to the garage, and yes, I guess this is where Matt. We find out he's
okay. I think it's also important to mention before we get to the garage that Tiffany shames Sly for impersonating a surfer, and it's like, you gotta get it. I'll teach you how to surf, and then you'll understand that this is serious business, and you shouldn't be doing it to trick people.
Yeah, that's rude. Yeah, he's basically he's Keanu Reeves. She's Lori Petty in this situation. She's like, I'll teach you. Got to be here at 6 a.m. tomorrow. And then she's like, it'll change your life.
It's true. When did it'll change your life? When did Point Break come out?
88.
Thank you.
Oh, wait. 88. 91. 91. 91 final answer.
That's great. Before
I think 87. It's somewhere in the Reagan era.
2015.
Yes,
I forgot about that.
The only Point Break that matters came out in 2015. 91. Okay. Cool.
Excellent year.
So yeah, basically Sly has said, okay, I'll become a surfer, but it's still an attempt to be a babe hound. And
for sure.
I think Tiffany is looking for a post-breakup hobby, teach Sly how to surf. Again, we don't know how many days passed in this whole show.
We never do.
A lot happens in the next 2.5 days over this weekend. But before that, we're going to go to the garage. Tony, Jenny, and Matt are talking. They want to buy a lighting system. And then this is where we find out that Matt is, older than Jenny. And they want to basically paint their upstairs bedroom. Their mom was going to pay a painter. so they can get this lighting equipment. This is a B plot that is largely only a couple scenes long, and it's anticlimactic.
It's true, but it's also the only real thing about this episode that has to do with their band.
So you're forgetting this. You're forgetting the song. Apparently, Zach. You forgot an entire song.
I said almost the only. Didn't I? Roll back the tape. I think it's interesting that the last episode was all about Sly trying to like give them a gimmick and like he brought the fog machine and he's trying to get theatrics and they're all like, nah, that's not who we're about. And then Matt shows up in this episode like, look at this, we're gonna get a lighting thing. He's changing his tune. Is what it sounds like. Anyway, yeah, so they hope to get the money from Mommy.
Do you have a lighting system for your band?
Yes, but we've outgrown it a lot. We don't use it anymore. We had a little one, a little garage one, you could say. I've recycled some of them. They're just little like LED footlights that I've put inside of boxes with perforated steel tops so they can upshine and we can stand on them and they can do an underglow. We'll do that for some shows.
That's pretty cool. That's like a little MacGyver action right there.
It's a little bit cool. I made the boxes. It's not a big deal. It's just a little something I do.
Sounds like a big deal. And everyone should acknowledge it in the comments.
I don't know. I mean, it's really just, it's a little bit of a hobby I sometimes dabble with just to make it more exciting. You know, people love a good show. Do you have a lighting system?
I'd say lights are very important for a band. We had a few. I remember we had like 4 of the lights. Like I think they're like $50 each or something, and we could bring them on tour. And they had little switches on the back that it basically just the shine stuff. I'm epileptic.
Yeah, you guys also had the uplights with for your banners.
Yes, and that's all we've really used them for is just to so people will stop asking us what our band name is after we say it 5,000 times during the show. But
you're epileptic.
But yeah. Yes, so we can only have the still lights because I cannot deal with strobe lights, and it's not because I'm a diva. I'm actually epileptic, and we have to tell lighting guys, hey, go crazy with the lights, except for strobes. Can't do strobes. And they're like, haha, okay, cool. And I'm like, no, seriously, I don't want to see these up on stage. Please don't use the strobes. And I've definitely forgotten at times and then been blasted. Had a couple seizures on stage because of it, but I have what's known as temporal lobe petit mal absence seizures. So they're very short. This is your WebMD podcast. Thanks for tuning in. So I really wish I wasn't epileptic and we could have a lot cooler lights, but it's one more thing to fucking carry on tour. It's so expensive. They're so breakable as well. And you just have to hope the bigger places you play, you're going to have cool LDs or lighting directors that like give a shit about their program. Now, I will say about the shows we play, maybe 5% of the shows that we play have a dedicated lighting director. Sometimes it's just the sound guy who's like doing both boards at the same time. So anyway, all this is to say the band really wants to do it. $300 is the mark that they're trying to hit. That's what this mysterious lighting package costs. That's $640 today. I looked up what you can get for that. It's like, it looks pretty nice of what you can get now for $640, but back then, big fucking clunky lights, and you're having to buy like a tripod to put all them on. So not a lot on what you could have done back then. So, and I did have a question here, like, great, they want a lighting system. Every single show we've ever seen the California Dreams play have been fucking super bright. Like there's not even stage lights on there. It's just like you walk into a classroom. Like Sharky's is always bright. The wedding was bright. There's no lights would not make a difference for this band.
I would love to see them with moody lights.
Yeah,
I want to see this. I was hoping.
I'm hoping later we get something. Like it's so cheap right now. The budget seems like it's so small, but I think we've said before that they definitely veer the focus away from the band in later seasons to cater more towards teenage hijinks and shit. So, but I'm hoping that
skew further from the band than they have already.
No, what? No, I didn't say that.
What did this show become?
Anyways,
dreams are not the band. The dreams are the concept.
Speaking of the bright light in my heart,
California Dreamers.
We see Gail. We see our mom. I love
that Gail's a regular part of the show again, or for the first time. This is 3 episodes in a row.
I was kind of bummed that they just made her into another housewife role for her. Like, she's like, I got to get this done. Like, where the fuck is the dad? Why is he not doing this? Did they say, was there one throwaway line, which was like, Dad's away at the Grand Canyon by himself because we're piece of shit kids that won't go with him. So we have to paint the fucking... That's a callback to the first episode. Everyone should be catching up and listening to every episode. Matt has no sleeves in this scene. I'll let it go.
He rarely does.
Sly and Tiff come back. Sly and Tiff come back in, and again their hair is dry. And he said something. He's like, I learned how to do a gnarly flyway kick out. Now, I wanted to ask George.
Is that a real thing?
I wanted to ask George, since he's got a surfboard. George, is this a real? Is this real jargon? I'm gonna shoot out and say no, but
it most certainly is, Pete.
It most certainly is.
I'm finding that suspect. We're gonna put an asterisk next to that, and we're gonna check it out later. There's 3 Guns N' Roses references in this episode, and this is the first one. They said something about a Guns N' Roses hotel room.
I got 2
being purple and black.
This is great. I'm very excited to find the third
one. Well, they just repeat the joke later, and then the third one is Matt wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt. So
that's the one I missed. It was the verbal cues. Okay. Because they want to paint the thing, and they're like, Sly's like, I'll help you. I love painting. And they're like,
purple and black.
Room, purple and black. It looks like a Guns N' Roses.
But that's not their logo. Like, I don't understand. That'd be like Prince. But that Prince's hotel room, that would have been a joke. So who the fuck is writing this?
I don't know. I think just because it's, I don't know, sexy. Purple and black is kind of.
Try again, Zach. Not accepting that answer.
I have 2 bits of fabric surrounding me, and they are 2 different colors.
It's purple and black.
But I have and sometimes kind of orange is also sexy, kind of.
That's gold. Literally in your shot as well. Wow.
Oh, huh. I didn't notice. I'm sorry.
Looks like Guns N' Roses fucking studio down there. I don't know what to tell you.
This is that's how I live, baby.
So is this the same day? Is this the afternoon?
Yes, because they're wearing the same thing they were at Sharky's.
Okay. There it is.
Yes.
We established it's the same day. So when we go to Sharky's in the next scene, is this the next day? Because
this is the next
Tony
day.
is working. Tony's working. Different outfits. What is his schedule? Anyway, I guess Tiff and...
I don't think there's anyone else who works at Sharky's besides...
No, there are, because when they dumped water on Sly, 2 people were going to clean it up. Like, and Sly didn't fucking care.
Okay. But nobody with names.
Wow. It's like a caste system at Sharky's.
Yeah, everyone has to take a turn. Everybody's got to pay the piper.
That's awful, Zach. Do you yell at waitresses too?
What if I did? What if that was?
Oh my God! Have you ever been on a date or with friends and somebody was just like rude to the waiter or waitress? Like, it's
not in so long.
It's been so long, but it is.
Yeah, I mean, I think the last time is probably like dinner with parents. Like,
okay,
people
another generation.
And then it's like, why is your uncle being a dick? Yeah, kind of like another generation.
Fucking boomers. Jesus
Yeah,
Christ.
no, I don't. That's a hard line.
Yeah, same.
Nice to your staff, to your wait staff.
Yeah. Yeah, being in
Servers.
the service industry. There we go.
It's hard gig. You know about it.
I know. Yeah, I know about it. So Sly and Tiff have hit it off so well in the last 24 hours or however long it's been. Mm-hmm. They're just digging it. I guess she's actually teaching him to surf, and they're forming a bond. You know, like in the movie Romancing the Stone. It's the first movie you think of. And speaking of movies,
it is just like that.
They said they're going to the movies. Now, we obviously see them at some movie, and I want to talk about that. But
yeah, also,
yeah, Zach. Sorry, what are you holding?
I'm sorry, it's a makeup sponge. I
was gonna be like, are you holding a sponge?
It is a makeup sponge. I had it on this couch, and then I started fidgeting, and now that's what's in my hand.
Man, if you're not on Patreon, you're missing out.
You're missing out that I'm using my hands to talk a lot, and sometimes a new item is in them when they come back into the screen.
This is a podcast prop comedy.
Tiffany has a new nickname for Sly, and it's Splishy Nose.
No. Did I sneeze during this part? I don't remember this at all.
It's Splishy Nose. And she says it like, because he's like, no, don't tell her. And is like, don't tell them. And is like embarrassed. and then he's like, gonna say it. And then he's like, no. And then she's gonna say, he's like, no. And then she's like, Splishy Nose. And like gives this like, you get it? Like, look, like, isn't this great? And all of them are like, I'm going to be sick. I hate it. And I felt the same. I felt like I missed something, you know. I guess that's how inside jokes work, where like somebody else, that inside joke happens around you, and you're confused, but you know it's good in their world, and you're happy for them, but you feel left out. I'm neither happy for them.
You don't want to be.
I wish I was left out.
You should have taken that stupid warning more seriously. Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh, I guess you had to be there, but you're like, nah, it's still not funny. I still wish I wasn't a part of this now.
Sorry to tell you about it, since you hadn't.
I didn't remember, and now I know.
Yeah, Splishy Nose.
Okay, Zach, were you saying Splishy Nose or Squishy Nose?
I heard Splishy Nose, and I wound back the tape a few times because I thought surely not.
Surely not.
Surely not. I guess maybe, like, I tried to make it make sense. You know, there was like, how did they come up with it? Maybe he kept falling and like getting water in his nose, so it's Splishy Nose. Probably something. I
guess. I think it was probably Squishy Nose because when they kissed.
This was before they kissed.
Squish. I know, but I think they were kissing more. But when we saw them kiss, was that their first kiss?
Oh, I think so, because
let's pontificate on these teenagers sucking face. But
we like to see the first kiss. The first kiss is important. That's what shows always show us. They don't go like, and the audience always lets us know, like, they go, woo.
Yes, they do.
That's when we know.
I'll be honest, man.
This is a big deal to see. And then we know to react similarly. Did you react similarly?
I will be honest and say I did a woo, but just because this is the first kiss we've seen on this show. 10 episodes. Haven't seen a kiss.
No, we saw a kiss. Matt kissed.
Which one? Randy Joe?
Matt kissed
his mom. Doesn't count. Unless I'm kissing Gail.
Hey, come on, it counts. No, it didn't he kiss Angela?
No, they kept that really, really PG, if that. They were going to go see Beethoven, and he just kind of walks her out the door, and they do not kiss.
No, Tony kisses. Tony kisses in Guess Who's Coming to Brunch. They kiss twice.
Okay. Damn. Yeah. Squishy Nose Pete just blocked out all the good stuff. I'm sorry. I stand corrected, but I don't stand corrected. So what movie do you think they were going to go see? Do you want me to give you a couple options?
Yeah, give me some. What came out that time.
Okay, so we have 5 movies came out within a 2-week period before this episode aired. So we're just going to put that in that universe.
Beautiful.
So Candyman, Reservoir Dogs,
Okay.
The Mighty Ducks,
Ooh.
Under Siege, and Passenger 57, Always Bet on Black.
I think judging now, I haven't seen all these movies in a while.
Yeah, and we did see the last scene, so that might be a context clue.
Judging on like the density of the dialogue, it might be Reservoir Dogs.
It was a dialogue heavy movie. I think you're right about that.
I think so. I mean, and they made a big deal out of it by like quoting the last lines themselves.
Yes.
You know.
I mean, I'm going to say Under Siege because speaking of Point Break movie, both those movies had Gary Busey in it, and it has Gary Busey in drag, I want to say. It's either him or Tommy Lee Jones in full drag. But that movie's just fucking bonkers. Everyone's going crazy. So I kind of wish they were seeing that.
What's it called?
Under Siege.
Under Siege.
Are you looking up Under Siege in my presence? This is a classic Steven Seagal film.
Oh, I know this movie. I've not seen it.
I know this movie. Do you want to hear a story real quick?
I've seen this poster because... It's it's iconic. One could say.
It is iconic. It's you sunk my battleship, Seagal.
He doesn't win them all, but when he does, we talk about it.
I thought you were doing a tagline, and that could basically be the tagline for this movie. He doesn't win them all, but when he does, we talk about it. This is sort of I'm showing my age here, but I rented this movie and I was like, I'm going to bank this later. And I remember going downstairs and masturbating to like a very specific scene where she jumps out of the cake. And I was like, this is it. This is how I become a man. Erica Laniak, topless.
Nice.
12 years old. Yeah, it was huge. I think my mom listens to this podcast, so I'm sorry, but this is how I became a man. Whether you
so
like
if
it or
you
not.
wonder why Pete wanted to rent this movie so often, and why it was never rewound fully, but somewhere in the middle.
Speaking of gross stuff you don't want to hear about, so Jenny takes Tiff aside in this scene and is like, Tiff, what are you doing? Why are you kissing Sly? You like Sly? And they're like, pardon the term, but are they Eskimo sisters? No, I can't say that. Are they tunnel buddies? They have both kissed. They've dated the same guy, right?
Yeah, they have. They briefly did.
That's not weird. There's no point there where it was like, hey, is this okay or something? I mean, that's not even talked about at all. That's gonna have to come up later, though. Like,
Jenny
co-ed
from
band.
the beginning was like, "This is Sly we're talking about, Tiff. What are you doing? What are you doing with this guy?" And she's like, "He's changed. The ocean does that to people."
It's been one day so far. Okay, so one day, everybody.
Ocean does that to people.
So I just at the end of that
it's
movie.
It's been 2 days because they went swimming.
Oh, I mean, you're doing it again. You're doing it again.
Surfing, and then he said, and tomorrow we're going to the movies.
Okay.
So that's now 2 days. So it's their second days.
Do they have some Gregorian calendar that's just all weekends? Do they have? Is this in France? Is this one of those 4-day work weeks and they just get to fuck off for 3 days a week? Good on them.
I hope so. They deserve it.
I love the ending of Candyman or Reservoir Dogs are Under Siege here, and it's just like, I'll love you for forever, something like that. It's something Sly says to Tiff right after, but there was no music, and the lights just come up, and then everyone's just fucking sitting in the theater. Did you realize that? Like, the movie ends, nobody gets up. Are they waiting for Nick Fury to come out?
They're waiting for that little what's it called?
Stinger.
It's okay. Let me. You want take 2? Should I?
No, I'd love that you didn't know it.
They're waiting for a stinger.
That's right.
There we go.
That's right, baby. Good call.
Nailed it. Thank you.
$7
editing.
$7.50 for 2 tickets. Fucking inflation.
Jesus Christ.
So we're gonna jump to Sharky's again, and Sly is smitten. He's sitting there, and he the way Michael Caine acts this scene, like he's like a changed man. You're right. Like he really is not. He's not boisterous. He's doing full on community theater drama scene here. He's just like, no, Tiff is all I need, and that's. He almost sounds brainwashed, but he's going for it. As Sly always goes for it, and I hate to take up for him all the time, but like he's showed up to work. Anyway, there's not one but 2 boogie boarders in this scene that come up to Sly and hit on him, and he rebuffs both of them, spurns them both, because he's just so in love with Tiff.
Yep.
Which I didn't see coming, because I mean I'm sure I saw this scene years ago, but I didn't remember the scene. I assumed that Sly was going to be like a dog about this and not be able to commit, but I was pleasantly surprised.
Yeah.
Do you think
until
Sly...
a third surfer showed up?
Yeah,
boogie boarder.
Too much.
And then he's like, I can't take it anymore.
So, but they're monogamous then. We're saying they've already had the monogamy talk. It's the 90s. Everyone's monogamous, but you would think. But it's 3 days. 3 days.
Yeah,
at
it was
most.
like, hey, I can't be with her because I'm looking at other Bettys.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, there was no question of like, I wonder, maybe both, have a conversation, maybe this could be non-monogamous here.
I would hope so. I mean, I would actually hope. I would hope so, because they do work together in this band. Sly is the manager, Tiffany's the bass player. Yeah, it's important to keep these separate, or at least have a conversation. Anyway, agreed. We go to. Do we know what room they're painting up in the Garrison household?
I think it's supposed to, only because it's mentioned later. Mm-hmm. I think it's supposed to be Dennis's room.
Fucking stupid Dennis. I mean, honestly,
and it's the one. It doesn't look familiar.
They're using Matt's set. They're using Matt's bedroom as the set. You didn't know that? Is it because the piano wasn't there? I bet it was the piano.
I know.
It's Matt's set, which is also the set they used for Zach Morris's room, in case anybody's not playing catch up here.
Who's that?
I noticed in this painting scene, we should have got a painter on this episode, like a professional painter, and been like, please deconstruct this scene. They're not using any painter's tape. They're not wearing any coveralls or anything like that. Tony is just being a slave driver. It's real dumb. This is the whatever. This is like just the second scene of the B plot that we have to go through. I have a question about the color. I think it's cerulean blue. It's a calm color. What did you think, Zach? This is like a sky blue?
Yeah, it's I had a very similar shade of blue for my room when I was a little child.
So this is reinforcing the idea that this is Dennis's bedroom.
Yeah, I think so, because I was a little brother. Although I shared a room with my big brother at the time, so I guess it was both. It could have been Matt's room or Dennis's room in the family dynamic.
So unlike Matt,
that was mine.
You're the youngest. That's what you're saying.
Unlike Matt, I'm the youngest.
So you are a Dennis.
I am, but I'm also an older brother to a younger sister. Mm-hmm. So the Matt and Jenny dynamic was also familiar.
Interesting. You heard it here, folks.
I'm a little bit of everybody in this. This show.
Zach is inside everybody on this show.
I don't. This. We're doing our best. I'm doing my best. I'm keeping a promise. Keeping a promise with this podcast, Pete.
Oh wait, what do you have? You're not going to be crass on the podcast, is what you're saying? Is that your promise?
No, that I'm some of these episodes are hard to get through, but I'm sticking it out because I love you.
I love you too, and that's gonna we're gonna need a lot of love, because some of these are rough, but I remember there being more music stuff later, so I think I'm just psyching myself out.
You also just told me that there's far less in future seasons.
I'm saying that's what I'm reading, is that there's less of a focus. But in my head, maybe it's just because I remember more of the music stuff, but you can't abandon me. I have abandonment issues.
I won't. No,
I
know you do, dear. I know that it feels like it feels a little bit like it's something I look forward to. I really do. And I look forward to these episodes for sure. Like hanging out with you and talking about them is great. But like, I look forward to I'm going to watch the episode, but it's kind of like when you're like at the edge of like sort of an addiction of like cigarettes or like sugar, like not a hard addiction, but like one where you're like on the edge of it and you're like, man, do I even like this anymore? And you like do it and you're like, this kind of sucks, but like I look forward to the next one.
No, that's okay. That's a great analogy.
And that's how this show feels, where it's like, yeah, when I'm like I don't know, I don't want to use substances like as an analogy for this show anymore, even though it feels really it's made most sense to me in relating it to
because you start vomiting during withdrawals. No, I get it. It is the same.
Yeah. And like it's fun to do with friends, and like doing this alone would be too.
Oh my god,
like,
no, never.
Well, I wouldn't do this show alone, but I watch the episodes by myself. So there's that element of like, yeah, this is what I do.
Dude, it's tough. It's tough for anybody to sit there while Matt and Jenny in this scene are painting themselves or they're painting Tony or what. It's so dumb. It's like, this is for children. You kind of get reminded, oh, this is for fucking 8-year-old kids, before they discover Under Siege.
And what's hilarious?
What's that?
Before they discover that's good. What I think this scene where they're painting, all of this to say, this scene has one of my favorite moments in the entire episode.
Okay, I'm so ready here. Tell me.
Well, basically, so they're because it happens at the end of the scene. So we can go through what the scene is about. But like, Sly comes in. They're painting. Tony's like not painting, and they're like, you haven't been. And then they kind of corner him, and they're gonna throw paint on him. And then Sly comes in, and he's like, hey, I got to break up with Jenny, but I'm gonna make her break up with me by being the worst. And I have a list of things that are terrible. And I want to test them on you, Jenny, to see if you think I'm the worst by like placing these rules into our relationship.
Love it.
She does. And with each rule, she like puts paint on him. And he's like, excellent. I did it. I'm doing it. I'm doing this terrible list. And it's things like walk one step behind me in public.
He's a psychopath.
When picking an outfit, ask yourself if Sly would like it. Keep a photo of him and kiss it after every meal.
It's more funny you saying it than the line delivered in the show.
It's so Jenny hates it. That's confirmation. And then he leaves covered in paint, and then Tony's like, get back to work. And then they resume. They're like, we're going to corner you and put paint on you. And they like Matt slings paint at Tony, and Tony ducks, and it slathers Jenny with this blue paint.
Yeah.
And Jenny, like, this was the part that I liked was Jenny like acts surprised, but like is like fighting back laughing, because like you can tell the actor was actually surprised, like how it I'm sure it was planned, but
so
like,
they're corpsing.
Surprising. They were breaking, and then Matt, like also trying to stifle laughter, is like, oops. and then it erupts into a paint fight, and it just was like it went from like I don't know. Their acting is throughout this show is so stiff.
I can tell you're serious. You're still holding the sponge.
I'm so serious. I'm smushing a hole through the center of this sponge as I rotate it. So
this should have been a Buster Keaton podcast because you love the physical comedy aspect so much. It's the only thing that consistently delivers for you.
The thing that I liked about this is because they're like, well, it was a moment of genuine, like, these three went from acting and play fighting to like, it looks like they're actually throwing paint and they are laughing genuinely. Like they are having fun shooting this scene. And you can tell the difference because they're not natural actors. The style of acting in this show is not meant to feel supernatural. So like, it's not completely their fault. But when they break, it's all the more obvious. That's like, oh, this is a genuine moment where they're all having fun and maybe they're friends. The actors themselves. It is wholesome. And then your favorite character comes in. Do you want to talk about that?
I mean, I have this washover of a good feeling all over me. It's like somebody came in and threw happiness on me in the form of blue paint. Yeah, fucking stupid Dennis shows up. How long is his father gone? George has said that this is Matt's room that is being painted. So why the fuck isn't Matt just doing it? Why is this not a chore?
That's a great question. Like I have, that was definitely a surprise or like I don't know. I didn't grow up in a wealthy family, you know? We weren't poor, but there were moments of poor.
Good thing you could make boxes so people could live in.
4 kids, and yeah, we were all very handy. Learned how to make stuff. But anyway, the idea of like being paid $300 to do a chore at the house was like unheard. Like that never would have happened in my family. It was like I did chores for money, but it was.
You churned butter and stuff, right? Because
I churned butter.
You're Mennonite,
once or twice.
Right? Yeah.
Yes, 3rd generation.
What does that mean? And just in case you were like anybody was worried, paint stopped having lead in the year 1978. So this paint fight is totally okay outside of having to clean it up. All right.
Thank goodness.
Okay, so we're gonna go back to Sharky's now that we've caught our breath from all the laughing. Now that we've caught our breath from all the wholesome goodness that is California Dreams, I didn't know it. Did they say before that they're going to go to a surfer soul swapping ceremony?
We haven't gotten there yet. Wait, no, we haven't gotten there quite yet.
Oh, I'm sorry. I think that's where they. Okay, sorry. I'm here. We're going back to Sharky's, and nope, they don't really say much in this scene, do they?
Well, yeah, they have. So we're back at Sharky's, and Sly has just given Tiffany his list, and she's like, "Okay," and he's like, "Wait, you're okay with this?" She's like, "Yeah, I'd love to commit to your list, and I'm glad that you brought all of your needs forward at the top of this relationship. That's really important to me to have."
This was surprising.
Like, okay, bad boundaries and bad, like, she needs to expect better from partners. But I think in general, the sentiment of like, yeah, state your needs at the beginning of a relationship and have updated conversations about how those might change. Like that is necessary. And she was like, I'm going to do the same tonight. I'm going to write a list and I'm going to bring it to you so that you can also go by the, know my needs. And then tomorrow we can have a surfer soul swapping ceremony.
Tomorrow.
What?
That is super short notice. I hope Sharky's is available. I for sure thought this was like she was going to do a prank. She was like, okay, you give me this stupid list. I'm going to give you one even more insane. And then that actually would have been the funny way to end this episode. But instead, the surfer soul swapping ceremony
Splooshy, I have needs too.
So just in case people out there like Zach are wondering, isn't this show about a fucking band? We're not doing any band stuff. We're going to jump to the garage and we're going to get a song. So, hooray.
Yeah.
All right. So, Matt has a keyboard in front of him. Look at that.
That's wild.
It's in a Moog. It looked like a little small keyboard.
Yeah, it's a little small keyboard. And he doesn't even, I guess he got this instead of the light. No, the lights are to come later. But yeah. I did hope that we would have jumped ahead with the lighting thing, and we're gonna find out. I hoped that in this band practice they were gonna also have a light show for it.
Yeah, and you would expect it to blow up as soon as they plugged it in or something like that, and that would have been the gag. But no, they played this super synth heavy song. It's was definitely played at the show that I saw them. This is a Tiff heavy song. She's doing all the lead vocals.
It's very like Paula Abdul.
Mm-hmm.
Pop,
yeah, She's singing a song to Sly about he's the one. Tell me you're the one. Is that right? Is that the name of the song?
Let me be the one.
Let me be the one. It's called Let Me Be the One. And
it's called Let Me Be the One.
Who is playing synth bass, do you think? Because there's a kick in synth bass line, and it's either Jenny or it's Matt in this scenario.
I think it's Matt. I don't know. I think it's Matt.
I mean, you would
Jenny
think
hasn't
that
ever done anything like that we know of. And
no, she did rip that one solo. That was pretty awesome.
Oh, that was sick.
That's a sick
true.
solo.
I did love that.
We're gonna have to say, for continuity's sake, that it was Jenny, because Matt jumps to guitar at one point to play the guitar solo, which is literally a synth solo on a guitar. Fuck you.
Well, all right.
You're a synth apologist. That's what you are.
Whatever. I don't care. I don't care anymore. You know what? Okay, I do want to talk about. I like this song a lot.
Okay, that's okay. It's not bad.
I like it. I think Tiffany's my favorite, and she's a sweet angel. But so I will say that I don't think she has a strong enough voice for this song. It sounds good, but you know how we talk about how these songs can exist on the radio in real life or just in the show.
Yeah,
I think this performance can only exist in this show, but I think this song with a stronger vocalist could have existed on the radio.
I see. Yeah, I see some of these stuff are rejected, like Paula Abdul tracks or something like that.
Yeah, and Tiffany's previous song that she sung solo, I think was I'm not remembering what it is now, but I don't remember having the same feeling. So I think it's just the more aggressive or stronger, energetic pop, dancey stuff that her voice is a little thinner for. But I like the song. It's fun and dancey. The thing that pissed me off.
Uh-oh, let's hear it.
Okay.
I got the sugar. I want the salt now.
Sly is about, before this song plays, Sly is about to tell her, hey, we got to break up. I can't go through with the ceremony.
Dunzo.
He's about to do that.
Yeah.
And then she's like, hey, first, I got to sing you a song. And then she goes, the band knows the one. This means this whole time that Sly has been talking to the band and been like, hey, I'm going to break up with her. And hey, I'm going to hey, I love her. I can't cheat on her. And then it's oh, no, actually I do need all of that's been going on between interactions with has been simultaneously going on with Tiffany. And Tiffany also has been hey, band, I wrote this song for Sly. Let's learn it together. And they're just
without him knowing.
Without
the manager knowing.
Without the manager knowing, and without telling her he's about to break up with you. He's actually trying to
Do you think it was written for Sly though? You think it was actually written for him? Because you're right.
It was the implication.
It also implied Sly's never heard it, so it's possible. But he's
new.
hanging out there all the time, and it's not like he has a job. This is his job. You think he would have heard this song, but I guess you're right. It is strange
if somebody
that they would not tell her
a love song called "Let Me Be the One" and was like, "Hey, I'm remember how we're gonna have that soul binding ceremony tomorrow? I have a song I want to sing for you. Don't worry about it. Yeah, I wrote it about my ex, but we're broken up now, so I'll sing it to you." Like, she wrote it for Sly, and the band knew about it, and the band also was behind, like, encouraging.
You think they should have given
up.
her a heads up before getting to the bridge of that song? Okay, all right.
Before getting to the bridge, yeah. Like, we're gonna play it. I mean, and that sucks when you have like a band member bring a song that really is a banger, and then you're like, oof.
Well,
this is about
doesn't matter if you're an instrumental asshole like myself.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
that's true.
Songs are about anything.
Oh, do you ever change that? Do you ever say, "Hey, I need to play you this song"?
No, like on a serious note, I've written songs about somebody that I'm, not seeing anymore, but it's never like, oh, like I love this person so much, the song's spilling out. Like, that's how people think this shit's written, but it's not. Or it's like you go through a bad breakup and like you have all this stuff and it does spill out. But, the song that's about the worst moment of my life could be about somebody, that song could mean like, oh, the birth of their child or something, or vice versa. Something great happened to me. It's like, oh, my dog died.
The worst moment of your life when you were born?
When a child was born, any child, yeah.
Any of them.
And I'm like, let me be the one. So I noticed in this scene too, they have a wireless mic set up. Awesome. Because yes, Tiffany is dancing during the scene, and she's got some moves. She's cutting a rug. There's no rug in the garage, but that doesn't matter. She's cutting it.
They had to have that thing removed.
Okay, so I want to. I kind of wanted this to be the inaugural solo that we both learn, and then come together, and kind of show each other notes on what we came up with. So this is going to be our homework. Okay. Because you're springing this on me in public.
Yeah,
it's a little long. Yeah, no. Zach had no idea, but this is the one that I kind of want to be. let the solo be the one.
So if I say no, I'm the dick.
Oh, I don't know. The whole rest of the episode is going to depend on it. So you have to say yes. That reminds me of you. Probably, I don't know if you're allowed to play video games, Zach, but there's also a film by the same name called Rambo. I don't know if you heard of that.
I know Rambo.
Do you know Rambo the game, the Nintendo game?
I never played that.
This is so dumb, but like you put the cartridge in, you blow on it, it doesn't work. So you put it in, finally works, and then it's it says the title, and then it's like it starts telling you the story, and it's basically Rambo 2, but that doesn't matter. It says there's POWs trapped. You have to go out them and extract them. Do you accept this mission? And it says yes or no. And if you say no, it genuinely says like, well, the game won't start until you say yes. So that's how I feel this solo situation is. Like, you can't say no.
Oh, that's interesting. Tie-in. It's
a long walk, but we got there. So again, this is one of the most famous. This is the famous one song rehearsal from California Dreams that we know and love. Came in, did it, getting out of there, and Sly seems to love it. And you're right. The second before he was about to DTMFA.
Good.
And so right after Tiffany and Sly bail, I guess, because they're gonna do the soul swapping. Almost said soul swapping ceremony. The lighting system arrives in a box. Did this band overnight this fucking delivery? Because if this is
it's
third
been 3
day,
weeks.
No, it hasn't.
It's now been 3 weeks. Maybe. This is actually
they got it from Alibaba, and it's taken 3 weeks to get here.
This is interesting. This is the first time. I'm gonna just go out on a limb and say this is the first time ever in this show that a timeline hasn't been mentioned for next other day of the week or next weekend, next Friday.
They've
next
just
Saturday.
given up. They've given up on that.
It's been tonight and tomorrow are the times on the future they speak of in this episode. So we could be jumping ahead. It maybe has been a week, maybe it's been 2 weeks.
This is the same company that brought the amp in on the Guess Who's Coming to Brunch episode. Just lightning fast.
Very fast.
Overnight freight.
Yep.
Anyway,
it arrives.
Do we talk about it? We do,
All
right?
To say, well, we have to find out what happened.
So
I'm curious.
They get the lighting system.
Tell me like I didn't even know it.
They
get the lighting system? Is it
in case you were sneezing, splishy nose? Yeah, they got the lighting system. Turns out it's just a flashlight with a couple gels. And
what?
They are upset. I guess they got ripped off. This could have been like a consumer, be cautious out there when ordering, on. There was no internet. There was no internet back. NASA had the internet. They didn't go to NASA. They didn't go to Cape Canaveral and order this fucking thing. They had to order out of a fucking magazine or something.
This is a magazine.
If there was one little thing of like, hey, Tony's going to go pick it up, because I assume they're 16, they might have a car. He's going to go, get the down payment from the room painting and going to go pick it up. They could have done that. They could have. But no, they have to involve the USPS. Oh, anyway.
That's true. That's another step. We know that's a headache.
They're kind of dicks in this scene, too, because the mom comes down and is like, yo, upstairs looks like a Guns N' Roses hotel room. You guys didn't do your job. And they're like, yeah, we kind of gave up. And they're like, well, that's it. I'm confiscating the lighting. And they're like, no, please don't.
Yeah, till you can pay us back. And then, they're like, no, don't. And then she takes it, and they're like, whew, got her.
Yeah, and that's the end of it. There's no... It would have been nice for her to be like, you think you're getting out of this? Get upstairs. That would have been fine, because it's like, then they did the job. Especially if it's Matt's room. Matt's just going to sleep in that room that's like still stinks of fuming paint. Where's he sleeping while this is going on?
I don't know. I still think this room was supposed to be Dennis's, because it's Dennis's room that looks like a Guns N' Roses.
Well, we need our viewers and listeners to jump in. You can always contact us at surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts, any ideas you might have, some guests. If Sharkey is your distant uncle, get him on the fucking show. All right, we'll do it. So,
come on, Sharkey.
Anyway, speaking of Sharkies, we're going back there.
Also, you got any weekends open? I can use some extra cash.
Forget that. Is tomorrow open? Because we are at the Surfer Soul Swapping ceremony.
No way! Wow,
Matt has his guitar out.
This episode is taking forever.
Matt's got his guitar out like an asshole again in public, but I guess this time at least he's booked for the event. Yeah. Why is that, Sharkies? Who gives a shit? That's just one of the. If you're not gonna get a surfing scene, you're not gonna get a fucking like a VFW scene. Where the fuck else would they have this?
Yep.
Anyway, Matt has the Guns N' Roses shirt. I wonder if they had to clear that before all the references in the shirt, but we're never gonna know, because Axel was definitely on a ton of cocaine and doesn't remember. And the Surf Guru finally comes out. Do you know who this was?
Wait, Tony's wearing a Guns N' Roses shirt.
Oh, Tony. Jesus Christ, I'm very sorry.
Nah, I mean, that's okay. Thank you, George. George is the one to point that out. He's keeping us honest over
Surf
here.
Guru walks in. This is royalty. Do you know who this guy is?
Who? No.
He's the bass player for the band The Monkees.
Oh.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Zach is taken aback. He fell off his chair. If anybody's not watching, he is
ouch. I need a Band-Aid. I fell hard. I am surprised. I'm shocked. What? Ooh.
He's I get the Monkees. I don't know much about the Monkees. It was a show.
The Monkees.
Yeah, it was a show. They were actors, but then they were mimicking the Beatles. I guess I sound like I don't know shit about fuck, but I guess more actors than musicians. But they became a real band after the show. Apparently,
is that how it started?
No, I don't know for sure. I said it with confidence, though. We could Wikipedia this, but. Anyway,
I can't wait for George.
George has jumped in for this.
Yes, that is absolutely how it started. They were assembled during all the Beatles hype. Their songs were pre-written for them, and then they started writing their own songs as they became a real band.
Damn.
okay, I know it's a little bit before our time, so I don't feel bad. I know older listeners would probably be like, yeah, obviously this is a known fact. Like Milli Vanilli is a fake band. Like, but I didn't know. I thought I knew the Monkees had a show, and I knew the Monkees had music, and I knew that their music was comparable to other bands of that time.
You know what's funny, George? Like the California Dreams are the Monkees. Because they tried to make this show, and then it was going to turn into a tour, and then they'd become a real band, but they never got off step one. George is showing us the CD, California Dreams.
This had to have been made before the shooting of the show started, so all of these songs were made before. So yes, it is like the Monkees.
Wow,
that's why some of these songs feel a little shoehorned into the plot.
They're too good to be a throwaway TV show song, but they're not good enough to be on radio. So it's that perfect in between. It's a fucking cream in the cookie.
Steve Tyrell was hired to write the soundtrack, and that took place before the show.
So he just was writing songs and been like, I hope this like fits into an episode. Let me be the one. I guess that's right. He didn't know it was going to be about Sly. No.
And it was all over the place. I mean, genre-wise, it's all over the place.
Yo, you got to throw a lot of spaghetti at the wall.
I guess you do. I reckon so.
Mom's spaghetti. So Matt sings a song while they're going. There's just a lot of like white shirtless people. Is this a purity ball?
Yeah.
These are all children.
They're white. They're shirtless people with bow ties. I don't know if you noticed that, and that's part of the reason why I'm.
Yo, I love that. Apropos. This is you. I only look good in one outfit, and you'll see me that in every week. But I'm so glad that you are versatile.
You know, I was thinking about it because I was looking through as part of why I hadn't. It's not. I don't need to explain this. I gave up.
I don't know. A rare moment of self-control.
I don't know how long this is gonna last and be like my thing that I'm gonna pick different episodes.
I wanted to continue every single episode forever.
I'm gonna do my best.
You better have a leather jacket because Jake is coming up.
I wore a leather jacket last week.
No, but okay, you better have your motorcycle coming.
I drove in on a motorcycle 2 episodes ago. You didn't hear it?
I didn't.
You edited that part out. The listeners
I did. It was really tough to find. I had to EQ out an entire motorcycle during the entire show.
It was. I was a real rebel rouser that episode, wasn't I?
You were. You were dressing up as Renegade T-shirt that Matt is wearing. It's very specific.
I was dressed as the Renegade. I do think these. I know these outfits are gonna get as ridiculous as
you're gonna have to really. Yeah, you're gonna really have to start getting like nitpicky about it.
Yeah, I did a cameo of that one lady who like walked through the screen last time. Like I'm.
Anyways, speaking of which, we should set up a Cameo account and have people. That's where people pay like deadbeat celebrities to come out and give them a happy birthday. Like we got it. George, set it up for us, okay? Just throw it on a tab. Zach, do you want to hear the chords in Matt's song?
Do you know what this song is?
No.
This song is Surfer Girl by the Beach Boys.
No shit. They got that clearance? They played a real song. Is that the first real song we've heard on this show?
No, this is. I think so. And I'm actually. I was embarrassed to not know that, and I'm glad you also didn't know that because I heard it and I was like, okay, this sounds very Beach Boysy, and I learned the chords, and then like I searched the lyrics because like the crowd laughs and interrupts. It interrupts because of my second favorite part of this episode.
Did somebody slip on a banana peel and I missed it?
No, but it is physical and it's hilarious. They're walking down the aisle to this song, and then as they pass, the crowd does the wave. They do the wave.
That's it.
As they pass, and I laughed out loud. It was very stupid to have this surf themed ceremony. And I loved it.
Did you recognize the song?
No, I looked up the lyrics. I wrote in what I could find, and then tried to find California Dream. Like, looked it up, and Beach Boys kept coming up, and I was like, not the Beach Boys. Yes, California Dream sound. And then like I played the song. I was like, oh, yes, the Beach Boys. Absolutely, they played a Beach Boys song on this show.
What is this, Full House? Fuck. Because I was like, I'm going to press Zach and tell him that the chords are C, A minor, C, G, E minor, A minor, G.
Yeah, but here you can. I got extra Band-Aids. They're already out from where I fell. You can climb back on your chair now. I know. I felt the same.
My tortellini tush.
Also, I'm like, I know that we're very specific kinds of musicians. Because like I think to have a music podcast and not know the Beach Boys is probably like a sin for a lot of people.
I think it is.
We're like, and to be like vaguely aware of who the Monkees are. It's an era of music that I love dearly, but I don't know a lot about and I don't listen to a ton. I wouldn't say I love dearly. I have a fondness when I hear it. It's nostalgic for a time that I was dead for. But you were born in 1990. Like the Turtles song, So Happy Together, is probably one of the coolest songs ever written.
I mean, most of their stuff is it's just that catchy and good, and it's simple, but it's like, oh, I fucking should have wrote that. But they also wrote it like 140 years ago before there was a lot of songs. So,
well, that's what a lot of people say about the Beatles, and I agree.
Hot take from Hot Zach.
No, you know what? I would. Well, it's funny because the review I have, and I think female singers are required to be better than male singers typically. So even my review of like Tiffany might not be a strong enough singer to like stand up to her pop contemporaries if this song was like on the radio head to head.
Okay,
against, like, but I would say the same thing about the Beatles. I'm like, I think their songs are really cool, but I think individually their voices are kind of annoying. I don't know if you should leave this in.
Give me your gun and badge. You're no longer a musician. We're going to the judges a lot on this episode. I'm sorry. I did not know this was Surfer Girl. So I would lose my gun and badge too. So I would lose my board shorts and Surfer Girl, I guess, or my surfboard.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay, so we got to get out of this. At this point, some guy starts hitting on Tiff, who's, I don't want to body shame her. This Tommy. Well, no, isn't Tommy just any guy? Tommy or a Betty? Oh, a Tommy. Yes. So Tiff has a Tommy come after her. He's gorgeous body, but like real butterface. It's very strange. They chose him, and it was like, oh, look at that fucking hunk, and I'm like, yeah, from like the clavicle down, that guy is fucking hunky. But anyway, it gets in Tiff's head, and they go up to I don't know what they do. They put sex wax on each other or something. I'm trying to get that sex wax endorsement, and then they're like, do you take this girl? And Sly says yes. And she's like, he says, do you take this guy? And Tiff just like looks back at the hunky guy and she's like, I can't do it. I need a lot of dick. No.
The bass player from the Monkees is like, you can't, this means you can't be scoping any Bettys or Tommies. And that's when Tiff's like, oh, I didn't know that was a part of it.
I love this
also,
for Tiff.
It's not
truly love it.
Guaranteed, you can, as long as you've communicated it and agreed and okayed it in the relationship.
If it was in part of their demands, their list of demands that they were agreeing to.
Those demands are psychotic.
And you know what? It should have been. Well, those demands that we heard were bad, but that could have been it for both of them. They were already
they could have had the agreement to scope like, Tommies and Bettys.
Hey, I get to scope Bettys and Tommies. And
even if you're in a monogamous relationship, it's okay to look. Okay, you're a mammal. You're human. It's okay to look.
I agree.
It's insanity that we're like rewarding this retroactive jealousy with people. But anywho, they don't go through with it. I did notice this was also the best turnout they've ever had for a fucking band thing, and we didn't even get a show.
Sharky's is packed. They have real seats set up and everything.
Is Sharky's on? We don't know geographically where it is, but it's on the beach, right?
Yeah, it's right on the beach. Like, obviously, because the outside door is where they're all walking in and out with their surfboards and everything.
Well, and the wedding episode, I guess it's attached to like a bike path, which is like on the beach. So everyone goes out. They all go out to surf. Yeah, a boardwalk. They're one of those.
Like a surfboard walk.
Did anybody think Sly was going to become a full-on incel now after getting rejected from Jenny and Tiff at this moment?
Yeah, kind of. Except he's now hot to people. And like he got approached by two. He
was willing to commit. He was willing to commit.
Who were like, "Hey, if you want to, he's like, I'm gonna need some time to heal." And then they showed up and they're like, "Hey, let's, you want to come boarding with us? Sorry about your ceremony got called off, but you want to come with us?" And he's like, "Let the healing begin." Oh, you Sly dog! I see why they call you that now.
Can he surf now? We don't know.
I think
Matt says
surf.
3 weeks of intense surfing practice. Okay.
Yeah, Splooshy caught his first wave right before band practice.
That's right. And they all laugh. They're all like, "Oh, that's Sly," when he walks off.
Do you think this will ever be mentioned again? That they saw him surfing, or that they dated before? This is going to be
dated. That they kissed?
Probably not.
Yeah,
probably not.
Because they haven't mentioned Jenny.
That's true.
Yeah, there was no mention of like Jenny didn't even mention it in trying to convince Tiffany, like, "Hey, this is Sly. Why are you going with him?" It wasn't like, "Hey, remember when he also lied to me and tried to convince me that he was a different person, and it worked briefly, and then of course he's the same person."
Or like, Jenny, he was trying to break up with you just last night.
Here's the question. Sly goes through with the ceremony. He's going through with it. It's Tiffany that backs out of it.
Yeah.
I think it is probably inevitable that Sly reverts back to his old ways. But do you think Sly was being genuine in this episode? Do you think he really was trying to change and really like falling for Tiffany?
That's a great question.
So, do you think like if they dated, that Sly wouldn't be a dirtbag for the rest of the show?
He did certainly change after a day. So, like, you give it a couple of weeks. Like, I think he would eventually falter under some temptation, but he seemed to be genuinely into this. I mean,
he did.
But he's also very bipolar about it, where he was like super into it, and then he was like, "No, I got to break up with her." And then as soon as she sang him a song, he's like, "Oh, I'm back into this." So it's very hot and cold. What do you think, Zach? You posed the question.
I think Sly needs therapy.
I mean, I think so.
And I think most of the people that he dates and interacts with also will need therapy. So get it soon, bud. Please stop leaving a wake of broken people.
You
hurt people. Hurt people. What's wrong? What?
You heard it here, folks. Sly needs therapy. That's gonna do it for this episode. This is episode 10. This is episode 10. So episode 11.
We forgot to play our guessing game.
Oh well.
Oh yeah, which I think
episode 11.
Yeah, let me just cut all that out.
The guessing game. Well, you can cut this part out too. But is the guessing game being at the end of the episode a good idea, or do you like doing it at the top? So
I'd say we should do it at
builds anticipation.
I say we should do it at the end so we can tease what's happening next week. So because we're talking about it. Cool. But yeah, I think before that, we should give out our awards this episode, because I think we might have forgotten in the past. Week. I think we did with James, but I think the one before we did.
So we did it with Katie, but we didn't do it with James. It was too hard to wrangle. James is a wild stallion.
He was a wild stallion. So George, do you want to give out a Tiffy and Jenny and Tony?
Because this is not confusing at all, I'm going to say Jenny, Matt, Tony, Sly, Tiffy, Randy Joe.
Okay. What about you, Zach?
Nice.
Who's getting your awards?
I'm gonna give Tony to Matt. I think because he plays the most. He plays and sings a solo song,
Dual instruments,
and then he also plays 2 instruments in the same song, and that's fun. I don't think he did. I think the solo looked pretty accurate. Mm-hmm. The key stuff was pretty rough, but I think everybody did kind of bad in the miming department for this episode. We didn't get to see Tony very much. He did one little. He was on, but Tony's always good. And
I guess the Tiffy really.
Yeah, the Tiffy. The Tiffy I'm gonna give to Melody, the mom.
She paid for the band's lighting equipment.
Yeah, she did. She was willing to be like, yeah, this is way overpriced to pay you $300 to paint your own room.
Yeah,
but like,
seriously.
I want you to, you don't have a job, and so here's some exaggerated money so you can get what you need.
Yeah.
And then she was like, hey, but also you got to like stick to your side of the deal. She didn't just do it for nothing. So I want her to have a prize.
She needs something. Her man isn't around. She just has to do chores all the time. She's got a shitty little son. Yeah.
She's walking away with all that high-tech lighting equipment.
Yeah, it's true.
It's true. So Jenny can have the Jenny.
Jenny always gets the Jenny.
What is the Jenny got the the Tony last time from me.
Oh, that bitch and solo, yeah.
And roll. But also, what is the Matt Award?
We don't have a Matt Award. We only have the 3.
Okay.
We said
cool.
at one point we might.
Oh yeah, we said we might, but then Matt's not going to be around much longer.
Well, that doesn't stop us. Hey, George.
It never would. Let's
George,
do it.
What do we got for next week coming up?
So for next week, if you want to take a crack at the title of the episode is "They Shoot Videos, Don't They?"
Porno.
so confidently.
Look, well,
Zach goes right for the low-hanging fruit.
I think it's worth noting that like most adults who play teens, they are in fact adults.
Okay, so
I just want to remind that the actors.
So keeping with section 2257 law code,
Tiffany is not in this episode. Let's say.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, finally.
So do you have an actual guess, or you really just think they're shooting low budget porn?
Okay, what's it called again? They shoot videos, don't they?
They shoot videos, don't they?
I really want them to make a music video.
Mm.
I know we've seen music videos, but we haven't we've seen, but I want to see them actually like put one together and what that
is that
looks
your
like.
guess? Are you going to lock in your answer?
Or the porn? Which one is it?
You got 2 choices.
Well, I've been wrong every time.
Music video in one hand or porn in the other. Which one are you going to go with? The music video or the porn?
You're going to go The Wall from Pink Floyd or Under Siege. You got to decide.
Okay. Maybe it's going to be a music video, but it's very raunchy.
Okay. I like that.
That's kind of going both.
All right. Next week.
I cheat the system. What did you think, though? I'm the only one that guessed.
You're the only one that is going to guess because we have to produce the show. I have to get guests on the show. So I find out what they are.
Oh, you already know.
Next episode of California Dreams, episode 11, They Shoot Videos, Don't They? Sly convinces the band to shoot a music video for the chance to win $10,000. But when he insists that Matt kiss another girl, it drives a wedge between Matt and his girlfriend, Randy Joe.
I was wrong again. Randy Joe is back again.
So I did look ahead. Randy Joe is back for the last time.
Hey, wow. That's huge. $10,000 back then is big.
That's like a bajillion dollars today.
That's a lot, and
that's so much.
That's gonna be a fun one. So next week we actually have a special guest named Brittany Brave. She's a comedian in New York City and Miami, and she's gonna come on and talk to us about this. I didn't know what episode to give her. I first told George, I was like, this like really great comedian wants to come on the show. And I was like, what episode do I give her that's not going to make her hate us? And I found one in the second season that might have been good. And he's like, dude, don't give her a chance to back out. We need to do this quickly. So it's going to be a lot of fun next week. So episode 11, first season. If you're following along, again, this is a movie themed title for next week. So we're going to get into that too. So if you're following along, it's on YouTube. Please like and subscribe our pages. We're at surfdudeswithattitude.com. Give us a shout on Gmail, surfdudeswithattitude@gmail.com. And George, you want to take the rest?
This podcast is available everywhere. You can find links to everything we do at surfdudeswithattitude.com. You can subscribe to our Patreon so that you can get the video version of this podcast, which is uncut and hilarious. And it also gives you the extra episode every week that we produce.
Yeah, stay tuned for the encore today. We got a lot to talk about Squishy Nose. But I guess until next week, this is Pete from New York City. This was a blast. Thanks so much for listening.
We had a lot of laughs today. I'm grateful.
A lot of physical comedy, falling out of our chairs constantly.
Oh, gosh, we get it.
I will add a bunch of thuds and thumps in this post-production for you, Zach.
Thank you. Well, since your microphone cuts them out, we've already known.
I know, right?
Thank you, everyone. Thank you. Please like and subscribe, and thank you to our patrons. You make the show possible.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, moving on to the extended episode. Have either of you tried to convince someone to break up with you so you didn't have to do the dirty work yourself?
Go right for the jugular.
Damn. Well, fortunately, none of our exes will be Patreon supporters. Probably guarantee that.
Unless that's their ruse to get us back. They're like, I'm supporting your show.
That's true.
I'm sorry I had sex with your sister.
I'm friends with many of my exes.
My $5 a month demands that you go out on a date with me again.
We need to start auctioning us off, like as Patreon tier packages.
Yeah,
you already look like it. Like you have the Chippendales bow tie. Like you're literally halfway there.
You can for an additional tier. You can pick which episode's outfit I'm going to be wearing during our excursion.
You can dress Zach and watch it with him. I'll bet a buffalo nickel and a hay penny.
No, I think I've done it. You have?
Yeah, I've always been a bad breaker upper. I would rather them just dump me and get it over with. You know, I don't want to go through that hard conversation. I've had to, obviously, but it sucks and it's cowardly and it's something I'll like always be working on. Is like my fear of confrontation. So I don't know if I've done a lot of really shitty things in relationships. I don't know if I've ever done
dark. This. Have you like do you like? Don't you like dwell? Like, don't you feel like you were dumped, or do you like?
No. Oh, it's such a freeing feeling. It's just like, all right, I got out of it. Like,
so you've done it successfully, where you've convinced them to break up with you?
Oh, I'm sure I have. And it's not really like maniacal or sociopathic. It's just like, I don't want to hurt this person's feelings, so we'll just keep letting we'll just keep kamikazing this relationship until it's so bad that one person can't put up with it. But the problem is a lot of times no one's going to pull that trigger, and it sucks.
Yeah, I've never had it work. I've definitely had. I've hoped that they would do it so I wouldn't have to, or like, kind of gotten to points in the relationship where just effort starts to like dwindle, and you're like, I guess what happens if I just stop trying, and then see if that works for them to break up. I've never. So I guess that's a version of it. That's a version of making them do it. It's a bit kind of cowardly.
I lied. I forgot. There was one date I had where like the person became way too attached way too quick. Like we went on one date.
Oh, and that doesn't count.
She was a stage 9 clinger and would not stop texting and everything. And I was purposely shitty to get her to try and stop talking.
I don't
to me.
That I don't understand because like
it didn't even work. I had
one date you have no obligation to that person. You tell them if it was like an okay date, you say, hey, I had a good time, but just not feeling it. Like the fact that you're like, oh, guess I'm stuck in this now. Guess we have to go to this soul swapping ceremony, and I can't get rid of this person.
We swapped souls, and then I had to figure a way out.
You got real clingy about it.
Have either of you ever made rules for a relationship?
Ooh, rules. They're so close. Like that's not rules that we saw in that episode. That was like demands and
not
ones.
like that.
You have to walk one step behind me.
Written stated needs, yes. Of like here are non-negotiables. Like that has been something that I've definitely done, and I think is very like it has been helpful, and it's all like reasonable stuff. But it's I would recommend.
Do you have rule breakers, Zach? No, I'm sorry. Do you have deal breakers? I should say.
Deal breakers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's definitely. I have 5 of them.
Yeah. Don't kiss my mom.
Non-negotiable.
Non-negotiable.
And the fact that it's happened so many times, I've had to lay it out on paper.
Oh. Maybe
I definitely have some, and it's weird. Do you guys remember the Jonah Hill thing that came out recently? And he was just a lot of times, like, and it's shitty because like a lot of times when people say like, "Oh, this is my boundary," it's basically like this is a boundary that now you have, which is shitty to do to somebody. Like it's a self-imposed thing of saying, and you're hiding behind this whole thing. Like, well, I'm just being honest and transparent that this makes me uncomfortable. Like what you're really doing is like you're limiting what another person could do because you don't want to go outside of a comfort zone, which is childish and you know, and it's shitty to bring a therapist into it like he did. But the whole point is,
I'm completely oblivious to this.
Oh, well, don't worry about it.
Sure.
Go get an Us Weekly, George. Okay. Get the net. But I have a couple deal breakers. Like basically, like right before you go on a first date with somebody, I think a lot of people probably have them. Like people maybe of our ilk, like I don't want to date a Republican because like that's just a shitload of issues that we're not going to get past, kind of thing. And it's silly that we're affiliating ourselves with two broken ass government systems, but if somebody ascribes to that, they're probably going to be into other shitty stuff. So, but I think mine are just like, they got to be a good texter. They got to have a good sense of humor. Like if I'm like explaining my shitty jokes and references, like it's probably not going to work out. Like they can't just have hang-ups about stuff. They can't be overly religious for me. Cause like that's my shit that I deal with. I don't want to deal with somebody that's religious. It's just, you can be spiritual, but like if you are like, I go to mass every Sunday, I would have like, nah, this isn't gonna work. You're not gonna like my podcast, so forget it.
This is where we're discovering in real time, folks, and you're all listening to realize that Pete and my non-negotiables are pretty similar and in line.
Oh, yeah,
deal breakers are pretty much
actually, but I gotta disagree on somewhat. I want everybody to kiss my mom. She's great. And she needs to get
mom
kissed.
Is fantastic. It's
cool.
Too bad she's not a Patreon member and she'll never hear this.
That's great. I've never met your mom.
Yes, you have. You have. They came to our show in Kentucky together. Yeah.
Yes,
and Nashville. They came to the East Room. You weren't playing, but
yes, they did.
Yeah. So lovely people.
And more people should kiss her.
She's great. Probably a great kisser. I learned it from somebody. It's in my genes, baby. Big smooching.
So have either of you
Big
ever written
smooching
music
jeans.
for a partner?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
How'd you present it to them? Did you do it at a band practice with, or did you save it for the show and like strut your shit out there and like?
Yeah. Did you get your wireless
You
mic
know what?
out,
I've done
Zach?
it. I've done it. I haven't done it too often. I've done it a few times over the years. It's not like my go-to, but mostly because I don't gravitate towards love songs in my writing in general.
Are you
But yeah,
above
I've done it a few times. I think like one of them I presented as like a video thing. So I filmed myself performing it.
That needs to be on Patreon.
I can't find it. It was, no, I was like in like a, I was dressed, it's so dorky. I was dressed as like a musketeer and I filmed it from like up top.
God damn it.
So it was like,
It's getting better and
supposed
better.
to be like her like from a balcony. Like that was the view. And I like came up with a little ukulele and played a song. Anyway, that was a long time ago. And then recorded and been like, here, I wrote this. And then one I did play like she heard for the first time at a show. And it was like, hey, that one's for you.
That's how you sound. That's crazy.
Yeah. It's like afterwards, I was like, did you like that song? That was
So I'm not talented. So I've done the boombox thing outside the window before.
Oh, you didn't say anything?
See?
I've done that.
I have a confession then. Like I think I've written songs for a partner, a girl. I like girls sometimes. I was late on a birthday present one time, and I don't know if George ever knows. I had a girlfriend who was, this is bad. I learned a quick classical song, and I said to my girlfriend at the time that I wrote this song for her.
What?
And I renamed it. It was a Rene Bartoli song. I think it was an E minor, and she was really into like Egyptian like history. So I named it. I was like, I wrote this song for you. It's called Cairo, and I played it for her.
No.
I've never publicly confessed
so,
that, but the statute of limitations is up.
So she is hearing this for the first time.
I seriously doubt that
that you wrote was not written by you.
Yes,
you were not the original composer.
I'm a flagrant plagiarist. Yeah, that happened. I was in early college when I did that. So, like, I should have known better at that point.
That is too old to do that.
Yeah. I didn't have video evidence like you did. I played it for her, and I nailed it. It was like a 1.5 minute song. It was a really pretty classical song. Didn't sound, Egyptian or North African at all. But I said the song's called Cairo, and I wrote it for you. And she loved it. And I'm here to pay penance for that. I'm sorry I did that.
Well, I'm glad you all fell into my trap. Those weren't real questions. I prepared a game for this episode.
This is Mari Povich?
No.
This is You Are Not the Father.
Let's bring on the guests.
So this episode of California Dreams sucked, and I had nothing to talk about.
Those are great questions. I don't know what you're talking about.
Those were great questions. They struck us. Go ahead.
I made a game that you guys are going to fail miserably at based on your conversation. I have some clues about surf bands, so you can guess.
There's more than one?
You can guess the surf band based on the clues that I have.
Okay.
California Dreams is the only one.
Obviously, you guys are going to suck at because you're not into surf music. But
I'm not into surf.
All right. This band had the this band had a song on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack in 1994, renewing interest in the band.
Surf Tones.
No.
The Lively Ones.
Second clue. This band was the second to receive national airplay with surf instrumental after the Marquettes.
You know what? I just heard I don't remember what this song I don't remember what it's called, what the band is called, or what the song is called, but I just read about this.
I don't think you know the answer then, sir.
Thing. It means I don't know the answer, but like it's very frustrating because I remember listening to it and like learning about this fun fact.
God. Third clue out of 5. This band performed from 1963 to 2007.
I mean,
wait, okay, it's a guy's name and then the something.
Wait, it's a guy's. Is it Dick Dale?
No,
no, because I saw him a couple years ago.
Oh, what's his name?
Dick Dale would have been too easy. You would have gotten that just by listing every.
Well, I know like 4 surf bands,
right?
Is it?
It's on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, Pete. Why don't
doesn't
you know
narrow it down? You sure it's not the Lively Ones?
No, it's not.
They're on this. They're on the soundtrack.
I tried to do the Lively Ones, and I could come up with like 2 facts.
Okay, wow.
All right. They had to temporarily change their name because a British band with a close name had a song charting called Telstar.
The Stinks.
Obviously, it's Bush. You're an idiot.
It's Glycerine, yeah.
The Stinky Bushes. George, if we didn't get 4 of these clues, what makes you think the 5th one is going to jog our memory?
Because on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, the song that charted was named Bustin' Surfboard.
More like Sharded. I don't know this.
It's the Tornadoes.
Was this in the film or just on the soundtrack?
On the sound. Well, I think
I had both, too. So I should have known.
It was in the film and the soundtrack.
We did bad at that game.
Yeah, we did. That was a warm-up round.
That one went to the house for sure.
This one here counts.
All right.
This Tacoma, Washington band formed in 1958, and although now consists of different members, is still performing today.
The Beach Boys.
Are you not up on your 1958 surf band history?
It's not the Beach Boys.
No, it is not the Beach Boys, but they are. The Beach Boys are the first band I've ever seen.
Is that one of the trivia questions?
It is not.
What is my favorite color?
What's my favorite pizza topping?
I don't.
Right. They are known as among the first to use fuzz and flanging guitar effects, concept albums, and 12-string guitars in rock music.
I like how George said flanging instead of flange.
Is it flanging then?
Yeah, I'd say so. I've never heard it.
We might not know nothing about surf bands.
Yeah.
But we know our effects.
That's true. Like first band used fuzz.
You're like, that's a thing I know.
Wait, what's the Ventures?
It is the Ventures.
Gosh,
yeah, they were inducted in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2008 with John Fogerty. A cover of one of their songs performed by the Lively Ones appeared on the Pulp Fiction soundtrack, and they are known for their version of Hawaii Five-0 and the song Walk Don't Run.
Walk Don't Run is a great song. That's literally eclipsed all of my surf knowledge in one factoid that George just said. So, shit.
All right, man. You're going to suck for the rest of it then, but
yeah,
you're winning the game, Pete.
I am winning. Yeah, I have 100% more points than Zach.
I'm coming for you, big dog.
All right, Zach, your shot at redemption.
Here we go.
This band is known for their use of electronic keyboards with surf guitar, creating a ghostly sound.
Is this a buzzer situation? Do I just shout out the answer? Or is it Zach's turn?
I think we just shout it out. Right?
Is it Man or Astro Man?
No.
That's literally the last one I have,
band,
I think.
Formed as a high school band in Santa Ana High School in California, they have been active from 1961 to present.
Oh my God. That's so old.
1961 to present? And definitely the bands I thought are out.
Yeah, surf music is old, dude.
Got that right. Jeez. I don't know.
All right, next clue that will not help you at all. They were honored by the city of Santa Ana when they had a street named after them.
Oh. Are we allowed to look at the map?
If you
It's
really
obviously
look at a map, it's not going to help
Beach Highway is my favorite band from the 60s.
Beach Boys Boulevard.
Is it Gidget?
Sandy Ave.
Their signature song peaked at number 4 on the Billboard Hot 100 in May of 1963, and the UK singles chart at number 16.
I'm glad you included the UK one.
If you have your old copies of Billboard, you can go through them right now to look up this band.
I just boxed them up. Dang.
I just put the poster on the wall is actually that one.
Oh.
All right. Their song Pipeline has been covered by The Ventures, Dick
fuck.
Dale and Stevie Ray Vaughan, Agent Orange, and Anthrax.
This is a very well-liked song. I can't say that.
I definitely know Pipeline, but I don't know who wrote it. Mr. Pipe.
Boogie Woogie
The
Woogies.
pipes. It's
The
always
plumbers.
the something.
The Plumbers.
Yeah, the plumbers, the tubes.
The Super Mario Brothers.
Who is it, George? We give
The
up.
Shantays.
Oh, come on. There's got to be one nerd listening being like, you fucking idiot.
You idiot. You stupid idiot. All right.
He's so mad.
How are you guys musicians? You don't know the Beach Boys.
He's just
You've never
ripping
heard
his straw
Surfer
hat
Girl.
apart.
All right, last one.
Okay.
Commonly classified as a surf band, they rejected the label, going as far as to name a track "We're Not a Fucking Surf Band."
The Mummies?
No.
We are the Mummies? Because they had to change their name.
Hey, we're the Mummies. All right. Second one. In 2016, they released a box set called Oh, I Guess We're a Fucking Surf Band After All.
Oh, this sounds real familiar. I just forget. Fudge.
I don't know. It doesn't sound that familiar to me, but I think it's clever.
Their 1993 album, Sport Fishin', The Lure of the Bait, The Luck of the Hook, was engineered by Steve Albini.
Oh, okay. All right.
I do not know.
The band originated in Calgary, Alberta, and is a Juno Award-winning Canadian instrumental band.
Hey, Zach, Juno, the answer?
Juno.
That's
Do you
worth your
come up with all
$5
of
tier.
these, George?
What's
Did
that?
you come up with all of these?
I pick the facts, yeah.
Man, I'm sorry that we've been so bad at playing this game. Because you really have put a lot into this.
Well,
I think these
Katie-
are great.
I think that's his
clues.
reward.
Katie blew everything out of the fucking water when I did it before for the movies.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true.
Like, that was sick.
That was awesome.
All right,
You're right,
last
and you hated
one.
it. So this is good. You enjoy this better.
Last one, Pete, you better get this.
Okay, I'm so ready.
The band is best known for their song "Having an Average Weekend."
Oh, Shadowy Man on a Shadowy Planet.
That is correct.
Okay. The Kids in the Hall theme. Whew.
Okay. That's Canada again.
Honestly, if I didn't I should have got the Canada thing. Damn. If I didn't put that song on my playlist recently, I would have been like, oh, the Kids in the Hall band, but I had no clue who they are, and the judges would not let that slide.
That's true. Would you have let that slide, George?
I would have let that slide.
You would have.
Yeah.
It's 2-0. Heat takes all.
Just be- I'll take
Yeah,
my
Zach, you're the
L
worst
to the
player
grave.
at this game in Surf Dudes with Attitude history.
I can
But you look
I
the
can
best.
take that. Well, it's really true. All I've got going for me.
You and your hunky bow tie do look the best.
This is what I have to bring to this podcast.
You have to bring props because you don't know music.
I don't know music. I don't know. This guy knows music.
I don't know what makes us qualified for this show, but it's working.
Yeah.
For some reason, it's working.
Hey, listen, folks. Isn't it working?
Working overtime.
Well, everybody, thank you for listening. This has been the Encore Show on Patreon. Thank you for supporting the show. You are what makes it possible. Stay tuned next week. I don't know what Zach's going to wear. He doesn't know what he's going to wear.
I haven't seen the episode yet.
It's going to be
I
gotta see great.
What inspires me.
Yeah. You got to
hang around for next week when I am going to force you to break up with me. This has been a Waning Moon production.